Hey, what's up, everybody? I am Jermaine.
Hey y'all, what's going on? This is Tonja.
And welcome back to the
Welcome back.
Act
welcome
Right
back,
Out
welcome
Loud
back.
podcast. Come on. Yeah. We're back for another exciting Saturday. Another exciting Saturday.
You said there was so much
Well, I have a reason.
aggression.
I have a reason.
Okay.
It's excitement.
Okay.
This is the second Saturday in June. This is episode 2 of the Act Right Out Loud podcast. But not only that, it is my birthday weekend.
Happy birthday.
Yeah,
happy
so
birthday.
yeah, I'm super excited. Super excited. And as you just stated, your name is Tonja, my lovely wife. Come on, somebody. Lovely wife. And we are back again. Thank y'all so much for tuning back in with us on
Welcome
this week.
back.
For this week's episode.
Ooh, we got a good one,
got
y'all.
A great one for you all. If you hadn't had a chance.
First and foremost.
Yes, go back, listen to the intro.
Episode 1.
Episode 1.
Marriage is more than a selfie.
Yes, great episode. A lot of good feedback as well in terms of just information that was shared. But we're going to dive a little deeper this week. We're diving a little deeper this week. And we're talking about, do you have an open relationship?
Do you have
an open
relationship?
And before we dive into that, I just want to do this one thing really fast. The Act Right Out Loud podcast is brought to you by. You like that?
Drum roll.
Brought to you by.
I don't like it.
You don't like
I have
that?
no choice now. You've done it. It's out there. Let's do it.
Right.
Roll.
Yes. Atkins Act Right. Atkins Act Right. Atkins Act Right. Listen, go over to atkinsactright.com. Look at some of the
good stuff on there.
Good stuff on there. Tools, resources, merch, everything.
Yep.
It is right on the Atkins Act Right website. But let's get down to business.
Let's do what we came here for.
Yes, because the people
need to know.
They need to know they're out right now. Some are even at brunch, lunch, or whatever. But they need to know some stuff is going on in this world.
Okay.
They need to know.
So much aggression today. I don't.
All these open relationships, and open marriages,
open marriage.
Just leaving your door open, letting folk just come in and out. It's just open. You never put the close sign.
Just in violation.
Just
in violation.
Just all out there. So we want to take out the time to talk about this today because, man, this stuff got to come to an end.
It's got to end, y'all. It's got to end. It's got to end.
Everybody.
Ooh, the neighborhood.
Jesus.
You remember that? Just the neighborhood.
I do. I do remember that. So this notion of open relationships, open marriages.
Oh, they got a name for it now.
What is that?
Polyamorous or something like that. Let's go to Google.
Yeah, because
where there are multiple people in a relationship.
Yeah, that's true.
They have a name for it.
And people are coming out saying that I identify.
That's not what we're talking about. Not what you identify with.
No. In terms of poly, if you're looking it up,
poly relationships, polyamory. Am I pronouncing that right, y'all?
We hope so. Because I'll jack a word up in a minute.
It's non-consensual monogamy.
Non-consensual monogamy. Okay.
And to go even further is the practice of having multiple intimate relationships, whether sexual or just romantic.
Okay.
With the full knowledge and consent of all parties. So everybody agrees.
Okay.
So I don't think that that's necessarily an open relationship. It's just a relationship with multiple partners.
Okay.
But they all agree and consent.
Everybody give me
it's still open though.
Right.
Maybe it's still open.
Right.
I don't care if they consent or not.
Everybody just
everybody knows.
Just give consent. So y'all, honestly, I when we first
fix it, baby.
I'm trying my best to. When we first said that we were going to do teachings and just empowerment, even the podcast episode in terms of having an open marriage or an open relationship, of course we had to flip it. We had to flip it. I know some of y'all have heard the conversation with Monique and her husband.
This was years ago.
Yeah, years ago, how they was just we got an open marriage, and people took that and ran with it. They ran with it in terms of how they defined it
in open marriage.
In open marriage.
Yeah.
I think some of the things that they defined it as, I didn't agree with. And I know we're living in a day and age now where people are like, what works for you, all this nonsense. But when we took a closer look, we're like, you know what? We do need open marriage. People should have open.
You should have an open relationship.
Open how? Open in terms
not open 24 hours where anybody can come in.
Right. Not that.
Get out of that mindset.
Yeah, definitely not that.
Jump into the mindset of having open communication.
Open communication. Right.
Open conflict.
Open conflict.
A safe space to be vulnerable.
Yes.
A safe space for you to discuss things that may cause conflict.
Right. Yeah. Right. Which having an open marriage, open relationship, it leads you into being what we call having hot moments.
Yeah.
Having hot moments. Whenever we would be, whether it's at a retreat or a conference, and we would,
and even in our coaching.
Yeah, in our coaching as well. We use hot, and we know other people use it as well. They put their own spin on it.
Yeah.
But for us, in terms of being hot, we're like, we want to make sure that we have a marriage where we are honest, open, and transparent.
Yes.
That's how we open the door for us having this open relationship. Yeah, open relationship and this open marriage.
So being open in your relationship is about you taking the accountability to release any type of fears, anxieties, things that you feel is causing conflict,
right,
or maybe even disrupting your communication. So you're taking that accountability for your part in how you communicate with each other and how you handle conflict.
Right. Because we were just talking about this on this past week. It's a hard task to. Well, I won't say hard task. It's very. It's almost like you can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
In terms of if you're saying that, oh, I'm an honest person, I'm honest, or I'm an open book, then all of these, the honesty, the openness,
and the
transparency, it should just be like a cycle of things that's kind of flowing.
So HOT, guys, is our acronym that we use for communication.
Right.
We want you to be hot for each other when it comes down to your communication, not just hot for each other in the bedroom.
Right.
We want y'all to do that too. All the married folks out there.
Right.
But we also want you to be hot in how you communicate. Honest, open, and transparent. And there's no way you can tell me that you're an open book, but you're not being completely honest about what's in that book.
Right. I'm an open book. Well,
but you telling me
there's a couple of pages you tore out.
Yeah, you tore out some pages. You didn't tell me everything that was in chapter 1.
Right. And I think right. And I think one of the things that a lot of people, the misconception that people have, or they miss, is that every marriage and every relationship is different.
Yeah.
But honesty in your marriage and honesty in your relationships, this should be like a non-negotiable.
Absolutely.
It should be
I'm using your favorite word.
Right,
absolutely.
Right. It should be a non-negotiable.
Yep.
Because the opposite of honesty is dishonesty. Mm-hmm. And we all know that dishonesty in relationships, it is terrible. It will derail your marriage. It will derail your family. And this is not just in marriage in terms of husband and wives, or boyfriend.
This is relationships as a whole.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so you want to make sure that you are honest. And
where are my honest people at?
Right.
Normalize being honest.
Normalize being honest, and then also minimize you being fearful about being honest.
Ooh, when that fear brings dishonesty.
Right. Right. There used to be this saying that you lie to people that
you lie to your mama.
Yeah, you lie to people.
You're scared she's gonna whoop your butt.
Right. That you
when you
are
done wrong.
That you're scared of.
But you're scared of what you did and how they're going to respond to what you did.
Right.
So ultimately, it starts with you being honest with yourself about whatever act you have just committed, and to release it to that person without the fear.
Right.
Because the fear is going to make you tear out some pages in that chapter.
Right. So when we talk about open communication and this really having a healthy communication style, it starts off with you being honest. Yeah. And of course, you have to be honest with yourself, and then you have to be honest with the person that you're in the relationship with. You have to be honest with the person that you're married to, and preferably, yes, that this honesty is not something that you had to be pushed into. Meaning, yeah, meaning like you caught red-handed.
Oh yeah.
You can't lie now. You can't weasel so you are kind of just
when the receipts are evident.
Yeah,
and you can't wiggle your way out of it.
Right.
I'm gonna have to push you to be honest
push
about
it. Push you into the honesty. In other words, it's the old saying that only reason why they're saying something now
because I got proof.
Because I got caught.
Yeah.
So being honest, that means, so what that means, y'all, is you cannot be afraid to have the hard conversations.
Yeah.
And
I agree with that.
You cannot be afraid to have the hard conversations. Within those hard conversations, you have to be honest with your spouse, honest with the person that you're in relationship with.
Yeah. And you have to, so this is not one-sided, right? So if I have the expectation of you being honest, open, and transparent, I have to create a space for you to be vulnerable in that time of honesty, in that time of openness, transparency.
Yes.
So if I am not making you feel comfortable enough to share with me how you're feeling, then you're not going to be honest.
Right.
You're not going to be 100.
Right.
As they say.
Right. So the space does have to be conducive so that both parties can be honest. And when I say things like, let me be honest, that means that I'm getting ready to open myself
up to you and be transparent about what I want to be honest about.
Right. And now granted, y'all, sometimes some of these things that, especially for those who are in new relationships, engaged or whatnot, and there may be someone listening or watching now that you're at that space where you're trying to figure out if there is a piece of information, something that I need to share, especially if it has the capacity to come back and bite you in the rear end.
Which is why you would need to be honest in the first place. Don't set yourself up for secrets and lies to come back and destroy everything that you've built from the time of it, the secret manifesting.
Right. Hence the reason why whenever we sit down with couples for premarital, oh my God, for premarital coaching, counseling, what have you, we ask this question before we start. We ask a simple question.
Lay it all out.
Just lay it out. Is there anything that needs to be said now that you have not told your partner, your future wife, your future husband, that could potentially come back and bite you down the line? And
lay it all on the table.
And we have gotten, no, we're good to go. And before we can get through the whole 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks of the coaching or the counseling, something comes up. Mm-hmm. Something comes up. I think a lot of times the reason why people they're not upfront like that, it is because of the fear of losing that person. Yeah. And I don't know why people think that if it comes out now, that person could potentially say, you know what, I'm good. Mm-hmm. But then if it comes out later, it's they still have a choice.
Yeah, you damaged the relationship because it came out later instead of it coming out right when it happened. Right. You damage a relationship when you're not honest. Mm-hmm. You put emotions in place that turn into disrespect. You put emotions into place that come with self-esteem, sadness, self-blame, things of that nature that could be avoided if you're just honest. Right. Honesty is difficult for a kid. So you mean to tell me you haven't matured past that as an adult in your relationships? You're still in that childlike mindset that I'm scared I'm going to get in trouble.
Scared.
I'm scared I'm going to get in trouble. Right. And you're an adult that's trying to, get into relationship with someone that you plan to be for the rest of your life, but you still have that childlike mentality.
It's sad. And I think that, and it is sad, but I'll say it like this. And I'm going to give you guys an example. Mm-hmm. And this example that I'm giving you is something that I've said. Now, I will come to Tonja and be like, hey, we need to talk about something. Mm-hmm. And if, based on the tone of my voice, she'll know whether, if it's light or if it's heavy or what have you. And we talk about it. And sometimes it is not the most easy thing to receive, but the fact that she has created a safe space for me to come and say, listen, whether it's something like I didn't mean for this to happen, I made this mistake, and then based on what it is, the depth of the situation, that she then has an opportunity to respond. Now, if I'm not just out here just wilding out, then, and I never tell her how I'm out here living, I take away her opportunity to make a choice on whether or not she wants to stay in this or not.
Yeah, you're forcing me to be in that relationship based on how you want it to proceed.
Right.
Instead of giving me an option to say, oh, whoa, no, that's a bit much for me to handle. Right. And I'm going to take my exit here. Right. So what I gather from that is never take away the other person's option to say yes or no to carrying on the weight of whatever your secret is or whatever you've done that could damage the relationship.
Right. Because when you all have created that a safe space where you literally can talk to each other about anything, no matter how it makes you feel, even no matter how embarrassed that you are. So,
and you know what? I know. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're good.
So, when we say talk to each other about anything and creating this space to where you can be honest, open, and transparent. Now, that is not how it always starts. And we can definitely testify to that.
Yes.
Because our communication did not start as good.
Right.
I mean, it literally was one of the worst things about our relationship.
Yes.
You know, we had a hard time understanding how to accept each other's opinions. We had a hard time understanding how to receive communication in a healthy way and to give communication in a healthy way, whether verbal or nonverbal.
Right.
So this is not something that is automatic for some people.
Right.
Communication is taught.
Yeah.
You know, it's not something that's automatically instilled in you, especially if you did not have it as a child.
Right. It's definitely a learned behavior.
Yeah.
That you.
It's a good learned behavior.
Yeah, it's good learn. It's a good learned behavior. Yeah. It is. I would even go so as far as to say it's one of those things that you should go and even research and kind of look at, because from a mental point of view, and especially for men, from a mental point of view, sometimes we have to be able to look at something and have it defined, and then we're like, okay, so that's some of the things that I do. That's this is the reason why I respond this way. I never knew that this was the reason why. For Tonja and I, when we're thinking about hot, being honest, open, and transparent, when it comes to us, also just to add a little bit more to being open, that means that we, when that safe space has been created and we share whatever it is that we want to share at that time, and if it is something that is heavy, excuse me, that means that we refrain from shutting down the possibilities of the situation or whatever it is before they've had a chance to really just kind of breathe. Just breathe a little. And I know we'll talk a little bit about that when we go into to lip or whatnot. But that's part of being open too.
Yeah.
Be open enough to
receive. Yeah.
Hear what has been shared.
Yeah.
And then just allow that to a moment to breathe just a little bit.
Because sometimes you have to put yourself in position to listen, to understand, so that you're not listening to respond.
Yeah.
Right? You can't be ready with your guns out, blazing, to come back with, I'm gonna hit him with this, because I know when I hit him with this, I'm now in the lead as far as who got the most points in this disagreement type situation. You have to be, what do they call it? Active listening.
Actively listening. Right.
You have to actively listen so that you can understand that he is not telling you that he does not like your cooking. I mean, that's never happened to me, but
oh no. But
when people get criticized by things that they enjoy doing, or get criticized by things that they think are great, it's a hard pill to swallow when somebody comes to you and say, I didn't like that.
I didn't like it.
Yeah. So if you're listening, from an ear of making yourself better, you'll ask the question, well, what didn't you like about it?
Right.
Or how can I make it better? So that as one of my audiences, I want you to receive it.
Right.
So we have to be open to critiques. We have to be open to receive and listen to understand.
I think that's very key in terms
not
of
critiques, criticism.
Right.
Not open to criticism.
Open to criticism. I got you back. I got you. I think the conversation piece in terms of if I'm cooking and I'm like, I know this is just gonna be good because it's always good and everybody else says it's good, but then you taste it and you're like, no, that ain't good. But you don't say it like that.
Of course, I mean, it's all about how you frame it.
Yeah,
right? It's
you
all
got to frame your words.
You deliver what you're saying that will make that space
so that the question can be asked. How can
what
I make
didn't
it
you
better?
like about it?
Yeah, what didn't you like about it? How can I make it better? And that's even with our tone. Yeah. Because
body language.
Yeah, if I've been talking a certain way all my life, thinking that it's okay, and then you
if you talk like how? Are you talking about tone?
Yeah.
If you talk like how? Give an example.
You would have to give me an example because you've been on the receiving end.
So if your voice is leveled, it's not monotone, but it's leveled, and I still feel your emotions, but they're not There's not this. So you know how you watch the audio
Mhm.
when you're recording
And the
it go
frequency,
up,
yeah,
the frequency goes up and down. If the frequency of your voice is, you know, a little up, a little down, it balances out, and I don't feel attacked. I can receive it.
Right.
But if the frequency of your voice, when you get to an emotional part of what you're discussing, is high pitched, and your hands are moving around, and your head is doing its
well, you know,
thing.
we live in a day and age where people they talk with their hands.
Well, it's a different. See, there you go, right there. I probably won't receive that.
Right.
Then I probably tell you either we're gonna have to take a moment, or we're gonna have to figure out how, not to make me feel attacked.
Right. And y'all, let me say this now. In terms of this communication, now me and Tom, we've had it out. We have
that first year and a half, man.
We listen.
Of marriage.
You poster child for listening to respond.
Period.
Not listening to listen.
On standby with the response. On standby, ready.
Right.
To go tit for tat.
Right.
Toe for toe.
And it was all because we didn't understand our communication styles.
Yep.
We just didn't.
Shameless plug.
Yes.
We have a great chapter on communication styles in our new book. Y'all.
Come on. There it is.
Maintenance is cheaper than
Maintenance is cheaper than
repair. We always got it on hand. It's available on our website at thezachwright.com. Okay, go ahead.
Oh no. Shameless but needful. Necessary plug. Necessary plug.
Yeah.
So,
but you were about to go into so hot communication, right?
Yeah. No. What I was saying was I was finishing up saying that we didn't communicate well.
We did not.
We did not. We didn't communicate. Here's what's interesting about us. So Tonja, she's an introvert. I'm an outrovert. Extrovert. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I just made up. I'm an outrovert. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Tonja's an introvert. I'm an extrovert. But
when it comes to socializing.
Yeah, when it comes to socializing. When it comes to what we learned was when it came to communicating, like most men, I would just shut down.
Passive aggressive,
shut down, stubborn, all these different things. But we both had to learn each other. Like Tonja, she had to learn that I can't necessarily communicate to Jermaine this way because shutdown is what happened when I communicate to him this way. And then I know that I can't be passive aggressive and be, shut down when I need to be talking and communicating. So it's a process, y'all. It's a process. If you're in a space right now in your marriage or in your relationship, and it just seems like y'all can get on the same page when it comes to communicating, we strongly suggest that you guys really search and seek out what is your communication style. Yeah, because if you don't know it, you'll keep butting heads.
Yeah,
you'll keep
heads. A lot of people put forth effort into looking up how, what their love language is.
Right.
And they don't realize that the love language and how you communicate with each other are two totally different things. I would probably, I would suggest finding out what your communication style is before you talk about love languages.
Yeah.
Because how can I communicate effectively to you if I don't know how you can receive it from me? Because when I understand that you are an aggressive communicator.
Yeah.
As opposed to me, I'm passive aggressive, or vice versa. We need to understand how those two conflict, and we also need to understand how they work. Together as one.
And I think another thing too is when you discover what your spouse or the person you're in a relationship with, when you discover their communication style, your discovery is not for you to necessarily go in and try to change it.
That's good.
Because if you're an aggressive communicator, sometimes it could easily mean that you're just passionate about what you're trying to communicate.
Yeah, it does not mean that I'm trying to attack you,
yes,
or make myself seem more right than you.
Right. And so if that's the case, that means that I need to be able to identify what kind of communication, so that I can explain to you.
Yep.
Like, this is the way I communicate. Like, I want you to know this is the way I communicate. So if we ever get into a discussion about something and my voice is heightened, I'm not raising my voice at you.
Yes.
I'm just passionate about
what we're discussing.
Right. So I just wanted to throw that in there because some people may be like, well, I'm gonna do this so I can try to change how they communicate.
Yeah,
we're not saying that. Just know what it is so that you can know how to respond.
The only communication style that I would suggest, and I was surprised to even see this when we were doing our research on communication styles, like there is a manipulative communication style.
Yeah.
And if you see that in yourself or your partner, then you definitely need to talk yourself out of that one, because being manipulative in how you communicate with each other, that's not cohesive. That's not healthy. That's dysfunctional.
Very dysfunctional. Very dysfunctional.
And that is a, one-sided relationship.
Right.
That's not a win-win. That's one-sided.
Right. So it's one-sided. And I'll say it like this: if you find yourself in a situation like that, do like the movie.
What movie?
Get out. you got to go. You got to get out of there. You got to get out. I'm saying get out of that conversation.
Because you are in the sunken place.
Right. You got to get out.
Get out of there.
Right. So, but then watch this, y'all. But so you got to be honest, open, and then it's that transparent. Everybody wants. Man, I just want to be transparent. Do you want to be really?
Do you though?
Because some people can't handle. Because
transparent means they can see through.
Yeah. And some people cannot handle another person's transparency. Some people cannot handle it because some people, they hear the word, you can be transparent with me, and they're like, okay, I'm going to do just that. This is me and all that I am, all of my flaws. There it is.
Yeah.
In relationships, especially in marriages as well, if someone is transparent, it means that person, watch this, cannot, should not, or does not hide or conceal anything. They're just like, let me be transparent. It comes up in conversation all the time. Let me be transparent for a moment with you about what's going on.
A lot of times transparency comes into play when we talk about if we're in a new relationship. Let's say you and I, we're dating.
Right.
And I'm asking you to be transparent with me about how you handled relationships before me. And if you say you want me to be transparent, and I'm like, yeah, I want you to be transparent. I want you to tell me how I don't want you to go relationship per relationship and describe everything. And I want you to be transparent about how you handled relationships, how you handled your partner in the time, that you had them in the past.
Right.
Because that's going to be a clear indication to me of things that, we need to work on, or things that I want in a relationship or do not want in a relationship. It's all about having, like you said, having the hard conversations and talking. Transparency is about having hard conversations. And it's about talking about the things that not only you regret happening, but you were successful in as well. Because you don't always have to tell the bad without the good. Right. Just talk about what you learned from it. And if you've, grown from the mistakes that you made prior to.
I couldn't agree with you. Couldn't agree with you more. Because think about this. As time goes, you always have transparent moments with your spouse without you saying, let me be transparent for a moment. It could be anything. You could be like, hey, I gotta go And you like, just gonna tell me that? I'm like, yeah, I gotta go do it.
See, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. You gotta take it there to that whole, saying too much. It's
I gotta do number 2.
Sometimes you don't have to share those things, and you can just say, "I'll be right back."
I'm just,
just go do what you gotta do, right?
I'm just saying, with time comes some good transparency.
That's, guys, strike that from the podcast. That is not what we're talking about when we're talking about transparency. We're talking about you being honest, open, and transparent in your communication, right?
Right.
So we're gonna cut this out right now, y'all, because I feel like something is brewing.
I just feel like somebody needs to hear that, because
some people don't even take longevity in a relationship.
That's true.
Out the bat with that.
That's true, and I know, and for something like that, the correct word is you're comfortable. Yeah. You are comfortable with them. But we want to make sure that we understand that you keep your marriage and your relationships open for honesty, openness, and then being transparent. Because
ultimately, that's how you're going to have in a healthy, open relationship.
Right.
So remember what we said in the beginning, not 24 hours open for anybody to enter,
right?
But open in your communication with each other so that you can be healthy in how you talk to each other and how you receive from each other.
Right. And then make sure that the space is safe and conducive to have the hard conversations.
Yeah.
Do the hard work, y'all.
Do the work.
And it won't
be hard if you practice it, and it becomes organic, and it's a learned behavior that is healthy for your relationship.
Right. Now we're gonna be honest, and then we're gonna be honest. Now, just from hearing our conversation, and then you making a decision that you know what they right, I'm gonna go in there and have this conversation. We're not saying that it's easy coming out, especially if you're not used to it.
No.
But as you continue to do it and always keep it at the forefront, it will get better. It'll get better.
Yeah,
it'll get better.
It'll get better.
So
we were supposed to talk about hot lips. So hot is our communication, and lips is our conflict resolution. So we may have to do a part 2.
Yeah, we have to do a part 2.
We'll do a part 2 to do you have an open relationship.
Okay.
And
do the conflict part.
We'll talk about conflict.
Yeah. Absolutely. So other than that, guys, listen.
It was fun.
Do you have an open relationship? I hope you guys have a great Saturday.
Yes.
Once again, follow us on all the socials. Yeah. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tell somebody. Tell somebody about the Act Right Out Loud podcast, especially those who, married, engaged, seriously dating, singles. Send them directly to our podcast. We're on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, iHeart. We out here in these
social media, Facebook and Instagram.
We out here in these podcast streets.
We're in these podcast streets, y'all. Join us. It's fun over here.
Absolutely. But listen, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Yep. Spend some time with your family.
We got that birthday celebrate. I'm sorry, y'all. Atkins.
Oh, my birthday. But y'all, listen, as I always say, be blessed. God bless y'all. Thank y'all for coming out.
Good night.
Good night.
Y'all have a good day.
Have a good day. See y'all later. Peace out.